Hello and welcome to episode 43 of Mathghamhain Morsels. This one is going to be kind of like my very first episode where I showed you how to make chimichurri sauce, only today I'm going to be showing you how I make my Fajita Marinade. It's very simple. It just uses cilantro, lime zest, lime juice, habanero, jalapeno, a hell of a lot of garlic, and olive oil. So, I'm going to be using my food processor today, and I'm going to try to make it so that this thing isn't ungodly loud. Hopefully that all works in the editing that I'm going to be doing. If not, my apologies for it being ungodly loud. So first thing is, I'm just going to stem one bunch of cilantro like you'd get at any grocery store. It's just going to be a very rough stemming. I don't care if I don't get everything out. I'm just cutting off the area where it looks like there aren't really that many leaves. And I'm going to start turning this on. So, to the cilantro, which is being worked, I'm going to throw in my habanero. If you want it more mild, all you have to do is remove the seeds as well as the white inside, and be very careful when handling peppers that are habanero, spicy, or stronger, so about 3,000 Scoville minutes or higher, because you do not want to handle these and then, for instance, go use the bathroom. So throw that in. All I did was take the top off and have it. I did the same with my jalapeno. Going to throw in the zest of one lime and the juice of one lime. I'll turn this off for a moment just so that I can get my garlic processed up the way that I need it. And this, I don't need to break down my garlic all the way, I just need to peel it. So, just going to crush it with the side of my knife and throw it in here. I will be turning the food processor back on to render my garlic down into the rest of the sauce. But figure I'll turn it off just in case. It is really loud. Though it's fairly quiet today, so it might be decent on the audio. But we'll find out when I actually do the editing. So, just smash your garlic with the side of your knife and pull the garlic paper away. And this is one of those steps where it is entirely personal taste. That was almost bad. My knife tried to fall off my desk. It is entirely personal taste because you might not like garlic as much as I do, so you'll want less garlic than I throw in. I'm going to throw in a hell of a lot of garlic because I absolutely love garlic. So I'm going to throw in fresh garlic in the form of soft neck white garlic. I'm also going to throw in a bit of my smoked garlic because that will add a nice smokiness to this recipe that I would be able to get if I was going to be grilling the flank steak tomorrow, but sadly I do not have the ability to grill out, so I'm going to just be broiling the flank steak and then sauteing it with the various other ingredients, and you will see me do that tomorrow or today, depending on when you're watching it, or last week. Don't know when you guys are going to watch this video. I know I'm going to put it out before I do the feast stream to end the Sanguine Start series. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is in the Sanguine Start series, since this is one of my oldest recipes. And it is going to be used in my feast stream for the end of the series. Because this fajita recipe is a massive, absolutely delicious meal in and of itself. And I've used it many times as a celebratory meal with friends. It has the right amount of spice. If you want to increase the spice, you can either throw in more of the peppers that I use, or use hotter peppers in general. So if you really want to step it up, you can throw in either ghost pepper or Carolina Reaper instead of the habanero. But that is entirely personal taste. So I'm going to be throwing in at least one full bulb of garlic, though I might throw in 2. I'll be determining that as I start smelling how this goes together. So, like I said, it's just a matter of crush the garlic with the side of the knife, and then pull the paper away. So this recipe I first came up with when I was, I want to say, it was either my 8th or 9th grade year. So either right at the beginning of high school or right before I went into high school. And I continue to do this recipe fairly often ever since, because it is just absolutely delicious. If you don't like cilantro, you can swap it out for herbs that you do like. So you can do a mixture of parsley and oregano, for example. Or if you have another herb blend that you rather like that works with Hispanic food, go for that one. But for me, I love cilantro because I have the proper genes, so it does not taste like soap to me. And I feel sorry for all of you who don't have those genes, and it does taste like soap for you, because you are really missing out on something amazing. And if it's even worse and it tastes like soap and burns when you eat it, I am even more sorry for you guys. Once I get this full head of garlic broken down, I'll start working this in with the food processor again. This is a recipe that you can do with a food processor, you can do with a blender, you can do with just a little magic bullet, however you want to process this down. It works. Hell, if you had enough time and you really wanted to, you could do it all in a large mortar and pestle. But I have never had the desire to do it that way, so I've always just used a blender or food processor. Let's see, almost done with getting all the garlic in this bulb done. And I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again for those who didn't hear when I mentioned it in other videos. One thing that you definitely want to do when you're working with limes or really any citrus, when you're about to zest and juice them, you want to roll them. It helps get more of those amazing oils out onto the surface, frees up more of the juice on the inside, so you'll get more juice and a more flavorful zest than if you don't roll. That's just a little tip and trick that I've found over time. So let's get this going again. Okay, I'm also going to add a fair bit of salt to this. And again, just to up the smokiness, I'm going to use some of my smoked salt, in this case a hickory smoked salt. And I'm going to start throwing in olive oil. You want this to be a nice, really thin paste or slightly thick liquid consistency for the best result. And let's see, that looks about right. I have some of it stuck up on the sides fairly high, so I'm just going to work it down. I have a knife here that I'm just going to kind of scrape the outside and get all the bits that got stuck up on the side of this earlier on down in. And this is smelling pretty good, so I might not need to add that second bulb of garlic. Again, just to up the smokiness of this, I'm also going to throw in some hickory smoked powder. And as I mentioned in a number of the other videos that I've done, when it comes to marinades and vinaigrettes, you want everything about it to be a bit too much. You want it a bit too garlicky smelling, a bit too salty, a bit too acidic. Because that means when it cooks whatever you're marinating, or whatever you're dressing, it will have the right amount of salt, the right amount of flavor. And let me add in some of my smoked salt. Let's see, that looks like it's got a bit too bright, and there's a bit blinding. Can I get the light at a better angle for this? There we go, that's a little bit better angle, isn't it? quite as blinding for you guys. It is far more blinding to me. And at this point, it's all worked together to the right consistency and look. Let's see. Let me get the white out of there, and it will probably go down to a better correction level. There we go. So, it's a very, very green sauce, and that's from all that cilantro and that lime zest and juice. And at this point, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to pull off about half of this sauce and reserve it for tomorrow, and the other half I'm going to throw a flank steak in. But that's how I make my marinade. And you can taste it if you want. Like I said, it will be too salty, ideally. It will be too spicy, too garlicky. Just everything about it. Yep. Will be too much, and that's exactly how you want it for a good marinade. Since I don't think you guys need to see me pour this on to meat and put the meat in a bag into the refrigerator, and you don't need to see me pour off some of it to reserve, I think I'm going to end this video here. And you can see how this sauce gets used tomorrow, or during the feast stream, which will be a Sanguine Start feast stream in short, or fajitas. And with that, I'll leave off with my normal advice of try new things, try new flavors, explore your food, and have fun. With that, have a good one.